Greetings. I hope you I hope that you are doing well, and if not, that you will do better. If you are not aware, some people claim that the Arabs of the time of Prophet Muhammad were black. Well, here is something to think about. Since they are doing linguistic acrobatics, there is the Arabic here on the right. You can see which website this comes from. There is something called the Sunnah. You have the Quran and the Hadith. Hadith are reports of sayings of Prophet Muhammad and his companions, talking about what they have saw and what they have heard. When you hear Sahih can be translated as authentic. There are quite some hadith, but whenever it says Sahih, it is considered as authentic or reliable. And one collection of hadith is considered as the most authentic or most reliable collection, and that is Sahih Bukhari. But all Sahih are considered to be authentic. Now, these websites list several hadith. This one is Sunan an Nasa'i. And I'm going to read. It was narrated that Jabir said, a slave came and pledged to the Prophet to emigrate, and the Prophet did not realize that he was a slave. Then his master came looking for him. The Prophet said, sell him to me. And he bought him for 2 black slaves. Then he did not accept the pledge from anyone until he asked, is he a slave? So here we have a report that Prophet Muhammad bought a slave in exchange for 2 black slaves. This is problematic for the people who claim that Prophet Muhammad was black and that the Arabs of this time, the pure Arabs, or his companions, or the family of Prophet Muhammad, were black. Because if he was black, why would they specify that a slave was bought for 2 black slaves? Why specify that the slaves were black if the Arabs themselves were black back then? Some people might want to claim that it was not common to have black slaves, and that's the reason why it is mentioned. I don't think it would be fair, because when there's just a mention of a slave, should we assume that every time a slave is mentioned, that we mention a slave, that a slave is mentioned in the Sunnah, in the Hadith, then it means that it is a white slave? Wouldn't it be strange if the Arabs were black, that we don't have no mention of white slaves? For the people who speak Arabic, ask them to tell you what the word for black is, and ask them what the word for white, meaning a person, is in the Hadith, and ask them if abiyad is ever used to describe a white person in regards to his skin color or complexion. Just for the record. Let's move on. This one, It's the same narration. Hold on. One second. Hold on. That was the first one here. That one was Sunan Anasai. Now look at this one here. It's a different one. Sunan Ibn Majah. Here it says, the prophet said, sell him to me, and he brought him in exchange for 2 black slaves. Here it is Jami at Timidi. And he says, so he purchased him for 2 black slaves. Here is Sahih Muslim. Ask them, ask Arabic speakers what Sahih means, and ask an Arabic speaker or a Muslim what he considers as Sahih Hadith to be. Sahih Muslim is well known. It says, Allah's apostle said, sell him to me, and he bought him for 2 black slaves. Sahih al-Bukhari or Bukhari. This is a different narration. I came, and behold, Allah's messenger was staying on a mashruba, which is an attic room, and a black slave of Allah's messenger was at the top of its stairs. I said to him, tell the prophet that here is Umar bin al-Khattab asking for permission to enter. Then he admitted me. Here in Sahih al-Bukhari, which is considered to be the most reliable collection of hadith, we are told that Allah's messenger, which is obviously Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, had a black slave. Interesting. So those people who claim that Prophet Muhammad was black, what do they have to say about this? Sahih Muslim. Anas reported that Allah's messenger had in one of his journeys a black slave who was called Anjasha along with him. He goaded by singing the songs of camel driver. Thereupon Allah's messenger said, Anjasha, drive slowly as you are driving the mounts who are carrying glass vessels. So here is another Sahih narration where we are told that Allah's messenger, which is obviously Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, having a black slave, and we are even told the name, Anjasha. Interesting for the people who claim that Prophet Muhammad was black. Sahih al-Bukhari. The same narration, but not in Sahih Muslim this time in Sahih al-Bukhari. Allah's messenger was on a journey and he had a black slave called Anjasha. Well, that's interesting enough. Interesting enough. And problematic for those people who do linguistic acrobatics. I'm done with my quotes. Let me greet the brother, Anthony Harris. How you doing, brother? What's good with you? If you or anybody else have something to say, feel free, because I'm done with what I wanted to say regarding those quotes. So, brothers, feel free if you have something to say. Is everything good, brother? No statements, no comment, no question? You don't have to, though. Don't feel like you have to. I hope you're doing well, though. Okay. Well, brothers and sisters, stay safe. I will definitely, most definitely, holler at you later on.